Have you heard that Diddy's life in solitary confinement is so bad that he's trying to bribe the judge with his Miami home just to get bail? His private jet and all his money mean nothing to him. He just wants to get out, even if that means never meeting a woman again.
John Diddy Combs is locked up in a federal jail that has been plagued by harsh conditions and violence. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn has seen multiple deaths in recent years. An inmate was stabbed to death in July, and several others have died by suicide. It's these reasons, among others, that Combs' lawyers are fighting to get him out of there, rather than being kept in jail while he awaits trial on sex trafficking charges. Combs is just the latest high-profile defendant to be locked up at MDC Brooklyn. Before him, there were R. Kelly, Elaine Maxwell, and crypto scammer Sam Bankman-Fried. A few years ago, a week-long power outage in the dead of winter left detainees in drab, cold conditions. One judge even refused to send some defendants to the jail. For now, Combs is one of about 1,200 people locked up at MDC Brooklyn. He's the highest-profile detainee at a place that's been described as hell on earth.
Diddy Combs has been denied bail in connection with the sexual abuse and sex trafficking charges he faces. And as Les Trent reports, the music mogul who once traveled by private jet to all those mansions is now in a jail that is notorious for its bad living conditions.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs spent his first night behind bars inside a facility that is being called hell on earth. There have been 2 murders, 4 suicides, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. It's so out of control inside that 4 federal judges are reportedly refusing to send any more prisoners here. Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, spent a harrowing year in federal custody. He says for someone used to a life of luxury like Diddy, prison life is a severe shock.
You have a plastic chair, you have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. It is a horrible, horrible place.
Diddy's lawyers were so eager to keep him out of jail, they offered his palatial $48 million home in Miami Beach and his private jets as bail. They are even offering to restrict female visitors to his homes, except for his mother, daughters, and the mothers of his children if he is released. Family members appeared somber as they arrived at federal court in Manhattan today in another attempt to get out on bail. Diddy's history of violent temper and potential intimidation of witnesses as reasons for keeping him behind bars. Diddy's former protege, singer Aubrey O'Day, is celebrating Diddy's downfall today. I feel validated, a win for women all over the world.
The man known to trap women and even men against their will for sexual encounters has now been put into a place that's compared to hell on earth. How does it feel to have the tables turned on you, Puffy Combs?
Prosecutors were arguing is not only does your client pose a flight risk, because obviously he's incredibly wealthy, has access to planes and a lot of staff, even though you said he turned over his passport to you months ago. They were also worried about him being able to interfere with witnesses. The question is, how do you assure the court that that won't happen if prosecutors are saying this is someone who's attempted to bribe security staff and has already threatened and interfered with witnesses?
The most important thing, even more important than the passport, is that Mr. Combs came to New York on September 5th. As soon as we realized that this indictment was going to be coming down in a matter of weeks, maybe months, but sometime soon, Mr. Combs got on a plane, left his home in Florida, flew to New York. I called the prosecutors myself. I said, Mr. Combs is in New York. Do you want to know where he is? If you want to know where he is, I'll tell you where he is. But he wants to surrender, because if he surrenders, they don't get to tell the judge that he's a flight risk and he's a danger.
So since September 5th, you had known, you expected it was likely he was going to formally face charges.
So I really knew he was formally going to face charges on March 25th. When Homeland Security searched his Los Angeles home, his Miami home, and his airplane, I knew that day by looking at the search warrants. I mean, I've been doing this for a while. This is not my first or 100th rodeo.
It's been a long time coming, and ever since the feds raided his place, he's been set to be punished. Everyone, including Diddy, knew it was just a matter of time.
It takes a certain individual to prepare himself to do a lot of years in jail. From the lifestyle that he had, I'm not saying that he can't. I just don't see him able to do time behind bars. Maybe if he'd be in a camp type situation, that's a possibility. But based on the lifestyle and what he's done and what he's accomplished, if he had to go behind those bars for a lot of years, I think that he may commit suicide. He do an Epstein.
Everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Stories with Ori. By now, you've probably heard that, U.S. Attorney has more witnesses that came forward. This is going to be a long, drawn-out thing, but he's burnt. You probably heard that his attorney wants to get him transferred from MDC Brooklyn to Essex and New Jersey, June 2008 till September 2010. 2.5 years, 30 months I was there. MDC is worse than it was then. Let me tell you about Essex County. My friend says it's the worst in Newark, Jersey, and New Jersey. It's a very serious jail. People get beat up left and right. The Bloods and Muslims control everything there.
Conditions in the Brooklyn prison are so horribly bad Diddy's been put on suicide watch. It's such a drastic shift from his old lifestyle that everyone's worried he might off himself before he's ever properly indicted.
But one former warden who worked at the facility says Combs's life could still be in danger there. And that former warden is Cameron Lindsay, and she joins me now. We just read it out loud. One lawyer for one inmate called it the MDC overcrowded and understaffed, hell on earth. Combs's own lawyers called it horrific. Why are conditions so bad there?
Well, it's been a number of years since I've been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, but what I can tell you is New York City, being the biggest, most populated city in America, MDC has a difficult time recruiting and retaining staff. It would be unfair for me not to mention that the vast majority of MDC staff are hardworking, salt of the earth, well-trained people. I know many of them. I think that has to do with a number of factors, to include the inability to hold on to the really good staff.
Yeah, Combs isn't the only famous inmate to be housed there. We had Sam Bankman-Fried there, R. Kelly, Ghislaine Maxwell. They were all inmates there. Sean Combs is being kept away from the general inmate population. You say his fame makes him a target.
Yeah, sure, and not necessarily at the MDC only. I mean,
anywhere.
In my humble estimation, his life, his safety is in jeopardy in any correctional lockup right now. If it is true, as reported, that he is housed in the special housing unit, it's important to note that the special housing unit is a lockdown, 24-hour lockdown unit. This is for Mr. Combs' protection. His incredible worldwide celebrity combined with the allegations, the charges now.
This is a man accustomed to the very finest. He was arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York City, known for its luxury suites and exceptional food and wine, where one-bedroom suites start at $3,000 a night. What is life like for him now at the MDC?
I would say 100% total culture shock.
We've got 1 hour of rec time a day, 3 showers a week, a 6 a.m. wake-up call. He's expected to make his own bed and mop his floor. 3 meals a day delivered to his jail cell door.
I don't know about mopping the floor, but definitely the lights come on at early morning around 6. The thing is, though, Liz, being in administrative detention, being in the special housing unit, 3 showers a week, as you pointed out, and 3 hots and a cot, as they say. But he will be in that cell, minus social and legal visits. He will be in the cell 23 hours a day.
We're outside the MDC Brooklyn. This is the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, and the side entrance where you can see there is a significant gate held by the U.S. Department of Justice. As we look up at this building, we're not sure which window is Diddy's, but this is where he is being held. Federal judges said this is where he's going to stay until he goes to trial. When that will be, we just don't know. His next court appearance will be September 24th. We know that he most likely gets a 6 a.m. wake-up call. That's from a former warden who talked to TMZ, who said that he will most likely have to mop his own floors and make his bed. Some of his movements will be restricted because he's in a special housing unit. He's not with the general population right now for obvious reasons, for his own security. This is a detention center that is notorious for violence. In fact, there was an inmate that was killed just this summer.
And you already know Diddy's been doing the same stuff as R. Kelly, catering to horrible people like Ghislaine Maxwell. So it makes sense that he's been put in the same detention center as these famous criminals.
No bail, no bail. He's detained.
We're appealing it.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're appealing the decision to hold him without bail.
When's the next court appearance?
Tomorrow at 3:30. 3:30, same place. Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid. There's nothing that the government said in their presentation today that changes anyone's mind about anything. He's been looking forward to this day. He's been looking forward to clearing his name, and he's going to clear his name. We believe in him wholeheartedly. He didn't do these things. This was a 10-year relationship. There's no coercion. There's no crime. There's basically just, someone who brought a civil case and now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal case.
Where's the support? Guys, gotta move it. Got him. Use your leg. Where's the support? Support for your father? Are you expecting him to be released today, or are you surprised? Whoa. Sorry.
Diddy's lawyer is fighting for his life, trying to get his client bail, and he's a bit too optimistic about it happening. What inside information is he not sharing with us?
I'm going to tell you the craziest thing about Diddy being locked up right now, facing mandatory minimums, the possibility of life in federal prison. Defense says, my read of it, many months ago, a woman approaches Diddy and says, hey, this is through lawyers, we're going to be releasing a tell-all book. If you don't want that book to get out there, you can buy the exclusive rights to it for $30 million. Catch and kill this book. Diddy's team says no. Woman comes back with a lawyer. We're going to file a civil lawsuit against you because it's not just stuff that makes for good print. They bring the lawsuit, and within hours, it's settled for, surprise, surprise, $30 million. A line of people came with stories to get their check too. Hey, if she got 30 mil, what can I get off this guy? I was there. I saw this. I heard that. And that then led to a federal investigation. See, people think, oh, somebody's out to get him. He pissed off the wrong person. You guys got to understand that there's prosecutors out there who want big, sexy cases. If all of this is true, then I could probably get some subpoenas. I could probably collect some evidence. I could probably build a case. They start doing it. They raid. A couple months later, they indict. P. Diddy immediately caught and killed the story by paying the $30 million that he paid eventually anyway. That story never gets public, nobody ever comes forward, and nobody in the federal government ever bothers to look for the baby oil.
But thankfully, the government wants Diddy gone just as bad as his victims do, so that bail hearing is just not going to come. When you're a threat to the likes of Obama and Hillary Clinton, you don't stand a chance.
How's your dad doing?
Diddy's kids, known to be willing participants in their daddy's freak-offs, are now repeatedly visiting the prison to make sure their dad doesn't throw them under the bus. So much for blood is thicker than water.